Here is how much I spend a month living in Sydney, Australia. Rent, $3,200, about to increase to $3,680. Transport, visually freaks. I live in the city and I have a bike, but I do have $20 on an Opal card. My utilities are $120. Food is our second biggest expense, so $600 a month, around about for two people. And yes, that is a cake of cakes, because we all know, happy wife, happy life. Entertainment, well, I got to entertain myself. I'm spending so much on rent, so let's say $50. Wi-Fi is about $50 a month, because, you know, girls got a game. My mental and physical health and well-being, honestly, not enough, but shout out to the Cuzzy for hooking me up with the vitamins. Let's say $100 a month. A grand total of $4,120. How much does it cost to live in your city?
You're definitely worried about safety, and you're worried about what's going to happen to you later on, or if you're even going to have food.
Madison dreams of becoming an animator, but her living situation is preventing her from attending school. This is her home. The Year 11 student says it's hard to study here.
Well, we have power and internet so that I can get the programs on my laptop, but it's also very difficult because with the Wi-Fi being how it is, it makes it really slow.
Her family of four moved out of their rental home when it went up for sale. They camped on a farm but were forced to leave by the local council. They now pay $360 a week for this site.
Because I work night shift, they're here by themselves. I see, I'm constantly worried about them.
Madison's parents also worry about their daughter's education.
Like she's got these dreams that she wants to do, but she can only do a certain amount of it. She can't get full access of schooling.
A lot of people will have the assumption that because you're homeless, you're on drugs or you've got an alcohol addiction, but it's due to not being able to afford rental pricing.
My entire pension is my rent. I live off family tax benefit A and B.
Yeah, understood.
I am doing my best to get a job so that I can keep a house over my daughter's head. When I'm applying for the jobs, I'm faced with being told that more than 100 other candidates have applied for the same jobs. I want my government to have a strategy in place for that gap to be bridged. This is your policy. This is something that you can absolutely get through and have it pass legislation. It just needs to be thought all the way through.
If you are one of the seemingly millions of people who are looking to move to Brisbane for, you know, quality of life, opportunities, rent, whatever it is, here is one cost you may not have considered yet that's going to be a big factor in your decision making, and that is your quarterly power bill. So unless you live in a Queenslander, which is actually not as common as you think, especially with the rental prices and cost of houses being what they are at the moment, which are obviously designed for the heat and humidity with the balconies and big open windows, you are going to need your aircon on 24/7. So
not everyone in Australia is going to admit to this, but if I see someone shoplifting during this cost of living crisis, they didn't do it.
All housing markets in Melbourne are now officially out of reach for average wage earners.
Even the worst thing that I heard on TikTok this week, was that this year, 2023, well actually it was 2022, we on average as an entire Australian society earned less than in the worst year of the Great Depression. And I can hear you already being like, no, of course they did. We earn more than that. They earn like $4,000 a year. Yes, but in considering inflation, that $4,000 was worth $95,000 in our day and age. No one is making 95 grand. That's, well, people are, obviously, but it's not the average. The average is 60, 55, 67, around that mark. This is going to get worse. Everyone, it's happening. It is starting to affect everybody. And if someone in your life is telling you to, just work harder, just do this, just do that. So would you tell that to someone in the middle of the Great Depression? Because that's what we're facing. Okay, and I get it. I get it's hard to talk about this stuff. It's difficult for me to talk about it. But we're not here to convince the people that are extreme in either direction, right? We're not here to convince all the liberal people that we should get free, affordable housing or, we should look after the climate. But who I am hoping to influence is the people in what we call the movable middle. So the people in the middle that don't care as much, they're not on the extreme side of the fence, but they look at this and they go, yeah, it's absolute BS that I can't afford to feed my kids, or I can't afford my rent, or I've saved my entire life and spent all of my savings in the last 12 months just to live. That should make you angry. That should make you mad at your government. That should make you feel very differently about capitalism and a society that sells everything and only cares about the individual. It's not about the group, it's not about the collective, the family, what we know works, right? Collective healing works. Individual thinking doesn't. It just isolates everyone. We need to work together as a team. And I'm here to say, with the movable middle concept, all of these sort of things, get out there, say something, start talking. This is not okay, and we can make social change together, but we can't do it on our own, all right?
If you're planning to move to Australia, I believe it's important for you to know that Australia is in the middle of housing and cost of living crisis. I don't usually talk about this because it's really stressful, but I think it's important for you to know and consider this before you make any decision. The cost of goods are going up because of inflation, but what's hurting the most is the endless interest rate hikes. Whether you're paying a mortgage or rent, the interest rates went so high that people are paying more than $1,000 a month on their mortgage repayments or their rent. At the start of 2022, we were paying $3,600 a month, and now we're close to paying $5,000 each month on our mortgage repayments. And there's a lot of us who are on the same boat. Even landlords are unable to keep up, that they need to increase their rental fees. Hearing stories of people who are now paying $300 more a week on their rent. $300 a week, that's $1,200 a month. God. Whilst some people are able to manage this crisis, some are unable to and are forced out of their property. I don't mean to stress or scare you. I'm just telling you the current situation. So before you go here, please do your research and secure your accommodation if you can. If you can stay with a friend or a family member, that would be good, because it's very hard to find a rental property, especially near the city, and it's very expensive. I hope you like this content, and I hope you're not confused.
I've been forced to drop out of university because I simply can't afford to keep studying while keeping up with the rising cost of living. I've been forced into a position of putting my education on hold because I need to work full-time to support myself. My bills continue to rise. Owning a home just seems like a pipe dream, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. What would you say to me and other young people in my position, and why must I decide between getting an education and putting food on the table?
How much money do you think you need to live happily in Australia? That shocking price has been revealed. Australia is the 13th most expensive country in the world to live in. But how much money do you actually need to earn to live comfortably and happily here? Using research from a Purdue University study, S-Money has answered that question and has determined the price of happiness around the world. Australia carried the third highest happiness price tag of $190,221, significantly higher than the average Aussie income. The Australian Taxation Office revealed the average Aussie wage was $68,289 per year. However, the median Aussie wage was just $50,980 per year. Here's the top 10 countries where happiness costs the most. What do you think?